This is Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 27th meeting of the Long Beach Park Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
So, she's gone?
Yeah, I have her.
Okay, then, let's make a motion to start.
6:11.
So, sorry about the delay. I have technical problems here with the new system that we didn't have last time, so my apologies. So it's this is the 9/27 meeting of the Parks Board, Long Beach, Indiana. The agenda is approved July minutes first.
I would move to approve.
Second. I don't think anything's working on that yet.
Can you just make,
Okay.
I just want to make a note. I just want to make a mention that there was no August meeting, that the August meeting was combined into the September meeting.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna approve those minutes. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We don't have Kinder today. So ongoing business should be a relatively short meeting, I think, today. Activities coordinator, we're trying to get this done early for Sarah. We had a technical problem. So, Joy, you have Sarah's report?
Yes. They had 202 campers for summer camp for a total of 7 weeks, averaging 80 kiddos per day. Huge growth from years previous to COVID. Sarah is working on activity dates for 2023 to provide more long-term planning options for the community programs. With the start of the new year, they'll be adding some new class options because they're hoping to connect with people as they start New Year resolutions. And that was it, except for Sarah would like to know what the final spending for camp was, so she can find out where they ended and compare with her notes, and I will need to get that information from Helen, and I'll get that for her this week. And that was it for her report.
The other thing she asked me, she noted on the agenda, the room 14 community center. Does that affect her at all?
No.
Okay, then we can just move on. All right, Beach Garden Club update.
We'll do fall plantings starting October 15th. We will empty containers that we aren't going to use, and we'll have plants at town hall.
I think you have to come up to the mic. Now that we have them.
And hold it to turn it on. There you go.
All right. We'll plant October 15th for fall planters. We'll have locations at Town Hall, Moore Road, and containers at the bulletin board. The feedback from Healy Landscaping on adding to the gardens in the park, he will provide plants at cost for us and install them. We aren't going to go for that larger plan until next year with the budget. So.
Does he want us to buy them, or?
He told me I could buy them from his website, from Midwest.
Okay,
Yeah, same we did. Mm-hmm, exactly, which worked out great. So appreciate that from Dan. Curious Kids, we had 60 children participate for Art in the Park, and thanks to Sarah and the directors for coordinating the activities. It was a great collaboration, and we'll do that again next year if Art in the Park happens again, or when it happens. Mary Beth Rebideau, Warden, and Carrie Noland were elected president and vice president of the Beach Garden Club, and they will have a 2-year term, so they'll be the leadership group for the Beach Garden Club. Our budget has a balance of approximately $1,100. We have planned to spend every penny of it on the fall planters, the additional garden plants for the shade garden, and also holiday expenditures. Other projects, the We had talked about the pathway for Stop 24 to link up with the ADA approved material that we have.
Yeah.
Dan said he'd like to talk with us about the design of that, but I think that's for next year, correct? But we can do the planning so he knows what he needs to work on.
And he can get with me on that directly. He and I can work together, and I'll bring some options in to this.
Great.
I'll
I'll go back with him. Okay. And then I met with Catherine De La Barre, who wanted to have some input about where the tulip tree would go, pending approval by the tree board, which we're doing via email as we speak. We will plant that tree at the playground area so that it provides shade. We have the quote, it'll be a 2.5-inch diameter tree and about 15 to 20 feet, depending on when it gets in there. Looks like we'll be using Servicescape because it was the best value for the largest tree, and they can do it.
Yeah, that's a big tree.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. So, how many is in your group right now?
27.
27.
We
Wow.
can have 35.
Okay. It's a lot more than I would have thought. Great.
Oh, I guess I should mention that we're going to work more collaboratively for community beautification. We'll work with Chief to do that. He seems to be very proactive.
Yeah. Yeah, he's excellent with stuff like that. So, good.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll do a stop update real quick then. There's only 3 really to give an update on, so stop 18 is not really our project, but I wanted to just get it on the record one additional time because there was a lot of discussion about it in the last town council meeting. So that project's finished, and now if you go to 18, there's we've corrected the last leg of the boardwalk that we had 1 or 2 complaints from residents. It was a bit steep, the angle of it, and we had a handrail there, we had grip tape there, but still had 2 complaints. So that angle was no longer there. It's almost perfectly flat on that last run. And then from there, you step down, and then you go up and over that rock area, and then down to the beach once you're over the rocks. So what that allowed us to do is have a big pile of revetment underneath the boardwalk that you can see, and we can add more to, we can move around, whatever, and that's all where the 10-inch water pipe is all draining out of. So it's draining out into a massive pile of revetment now. And before it was just dumping into the sand, which was causing a lot of erosion. So we've had a ton of rain. I've not gone down there recently to go take a look and see how that looks, but it would have to be pretty extreme for it to move anything that's underneath that. Or the water from the lake is going to have to come up and hit the end, but it does not stick out beyond the natural area or area. But the next step, if we do lose any of those stairs, would be that we'll settle down into the beach. So that was the town project. I got involved because John Wall was good enough to get me involved to make sure that we were okay with the plans and that it's going to line up with our vision of how the stop was going to look. So it did get changed a little bit, which is how the costs went up and got changed a bit, but it was all necessary to have what we have now. Otherwise, it was not going to be feasible, and the stop would have been closed. So that's the take on 18. Any questions on that? There's a lot of discussion about it. Okay. Stop 21 and 23, all we're waiting on now is the metal railing to go in where the orange netting has been for quite some time. And we had quotes, we were ready to get started, and then BMF had a big fire, basically the whole business, their whole shop in now.
I didn't know, I didn't realize that was then I read about that.
Yeah, I run my bike by there like every other day, and I didn't know that was a shop. So I saw this truck there, which now I recognize, and the whole place is just demolished. So
I think they were living there too.
it's funny how I ride these roads and I don't know the names of the roads. It's off of 39, I think, in 39 intersects a smaller road, I can't remember which number. And it's out near kind of rolling prairie, not that way. Okay, so we have no immediate issue there. It's just a aesthetic thing to get that finished. And the other note on stop 23, we had some dune grass that was damaged, and that was all supposed to get replanted this week or last week, and I'm sure they made it out because the weather's been so poor. So I'll reach out to Dean again, who's done all the dune grass planting, he was gonna replan 18 for us, probably a warranty job on that, and then 23 replace what was damaged by a contractor, and the homeowner was gonna make the town whole on that part, which is not gonna be a lot of money. Town property west of stop 29, so this is not stop 29, and it keeps being referred to as stop 29, but this is the gravel town-owned ramp, if you will, access from Lakeshore Drive to get down to the homes that are sitting at stop 29. And we had some residents that were working with Chief and John Wall, and I think a little bit of us, we were there helping with design and with feelings, communication, so I've not seen it, actually. Do we have a picture of? No? Didn't bring it? Okay, so I haven't heard any comments at all, positive or negative about that. Have you guys heard anything?
I've heard nothing.
There's an email chain going on between the residents and chief. I'm on that. The last thing I heard was, hey, great, I'll go take a look at it, but I haven't heard anything. It's not really our responsibility anyway. We were advising, so glad to have that done. So that's really it for stops for this year. No more work is going to be done, money to be spent, as far as I know, unless we have some catastrophic issue. So old business, pickleball court, tennis court sign, been on the meeting minutes for a while now. We just need to get that finished, I guess.
Yes, we just have to get it finished, and I did talk to Norm Brummer again about a week and a half ago, and he's rethinking the wording, so right now, there's not an urgency to it.
Right. 'Cause
I do keep in touch with him about it, and he kind of keeps changing things, so we'll work at it.
Okay. Yeah, it's not urgent to me either, really. I mean, I don't go down there a lot, but I do go, and I drive by there, and hardly ever see big crowds of people waiting on pickleball. I know there's a lot of people down there playing, but they've got a lot of courts, so.
And I think the issue, and I call it an issue, wasn't really an issue, that to be certain that the pickleball players were being fair if any tennis players showed up.
Gotcha.
So Norm said most people who are playing either pickleball or tennis know the rules, and that's why he said they're rethinking. They said something about an hour. Well, if pickleball is on a rotation, does that change tennis players? Do they get an hour? So they want to rethink the signs. In the meantime, they think people work things out.
Yeah, we haven't heard much about it, so I guess that would mean that probably people are working things out,
But still a sign, he said a sign would be nice.
yeah, it would be.
Okay.
Okay. Pillars at 18 are done?
There's one pillar at stop 18, only one, and the wiring, everything had to be done, and it is up and working. And thank you to Chief Swistek. He was really helpful in coordinating with Pat Gondek of PG Electric and NIPSCO, Tom Dolph as well. So it's up and running. The one pillar there, it has a light and it's working.
Good. All right, thanks for doing that. I left tree pruning in the park on here because I didn't know if you put a pin in it in the last meeting or not.
We are waiting, ever since the club came back with the striping of the pickleball courts over there.
Yeah.
And John Coker sat here and said, it's all club property, they can do whatever they want up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think until the chief has his meeting with the people at the club and we figure out what's our responsibility, what's their responsibility, that we should plan anything.
Spending money or?
Spending money.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, and it's been this way forever, or as long as I've lived here, we've had a very good relationship with the club. We pay for everything down here, we do all the upgrades, and they've always been fine with everything. Then with this whole striping of these pickleball courts, everybody got their assessing on their property. And so the chief is gonna have a meeting with them and we'll see what comes of that. I think Chris Willoughby suggested some kind of memo of understanding between town and club.
Yeah.
And we'll see what comes of that. Until we hear about that, we have budgeted $10,000 for pruning those trees in the park. We weren't gonna do it till next year anyway, so We'll see how it
All right,
goes.
I'll table that then
Okay,
until I hear from chief on this meeting. And I agree, I hope we can get that relationship back to where it was and it's not somehow tarnished over that whole situation,
yeah, me too.
because it worked just fine, really. But I do understand also it's got to be some legalities to it. At some point in time, somebody's going to get hurt.
Something's gonna happen sometime.
Trees the ball, someone's going to break an arm on the pickleball court or
Yeah,
whatever, something's going to happen. So it's good that we're going to have a little clarity anyway. It's sad that it had to come about, but
exactly.
okay, and then, new business, we've been talking about amongst ourselves for quite some time about ADA access at one of our stops, and stop 15 is really the only stop where that's gonna be feasible, getting somebody all the way down to the sand, I guess. And so you had forwarded around some pictures of what they're gonna do, where was that,
In Evanston,
Evanston, okay,
Illinois.
yeah.
So I did talk to Chief about this, and the question does come up about accessibility to the beach. Evanston has six areas where you can enter the beach. And one where we lived, they had the matting that went out there, which is problematic. It was, it would get covered over with sand. It worked in the summer when the lifeguards were there, but so they're revamping everything. So I did talk to Joy Parker, I can't remember her last name now. She is the parks person in charge of parks. She had a couple of thoughts, which were also in that letter that I sent you. She said they haven't made any decisions yet. They're looking at the same thing that we would be looking at. What would be the cost? Would we have adult? Would we have children? Would it just go down and back and forth? And then the mats, she said they've come up with all kinds of different mats that can be rolled out, that can, that won't disappear, because it's Lake Michigan, it's right across the lake, so they have the same issues that we would have with waves.
Aside from ownership of the beach, problems and differences there, because if we roll something out 50 feet into the sand, now we're on a truss, does it get left there, does it not get left there, that's the only thing that's probably different, is once we get beyond that natural ordinary water, we're not on town property anymore,
Right.
But I'm for it.
It's not a smooth, it's kind of a cliff.
Right, so that was just something that because theirs are,
I agree with you 100%. We sort of in the past have pushed this off to the council because it's such a big project.
Yeah.
But I think next year, if we, went to Global Engineering or something and had them, next year we could pay for the design.
Mhm.
And, because it takes at least a year to get people behind something. We could get a design for one and put it out there, see what people think. Bob LeMay and I did meet with Jeff from Global Engineering out there a couple of years ago, and we walked out there and had some ideas. And I think if we just follow through on that, get the plan from Global, see what people think, whatever Global tells us is gonna cost, we'll double it.
right. Chief, I talked to Chief last week, and he was going to take a ride by there, and then he said get back to him. And he would talk about, picking up the ball again with Global. He was very much in favor and said that he would be helpful. We also talked about a wheelchair. So what Joy said was they're getting input. So there are wheelchairs that you can take to the beach that, are $1,000. So, of course they go up from there.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of whether we reach out to the public or, like Chief said, let's kind of keep talking about it. Let's look at some cost of things. He said, I don't have a problem with if it's stored at the town center. I mean, people can park here and get it, so he said
Put it on a trailer.
Yeah.
Golfer can take down there or something, I don't know.
You can just take it down there. But I don't know enough about it other than, what the woman said, and they're doing the same thing that we are. They just said, okay, we need to do this, and now how do we figure out how to make it happen for next year? So
So the bottom line is, it sounds like we're all interested in spearheading the effort to get ADA access at 15 finally. And,
Yeah.
and, look, if we don't do it, no one's gonna do it.
And when we did talk about it, it was the same issue we couldn't really conceivably get someone safely to the water's edge, because that's not a property.
Yeah.
But we could get them down to where the sand is on a platform where they could view how we got to the beach from there, whether we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I remember what the transition is.
I have a handicap sister or a carrier, it's not that far until you come.
It's not, but if you want to, I mean, I think a wheelchair would be a great idea, and just to let people get down there, and be careful of property and who owns what and public trust.
Yeah, the other option, I mean, 14 is pretty flat too. The only problem is you gotta go around that dune into the property that's immediately to the west of 14.
Yeah, and we can't do that legally, because that's Jimmy's sister's property.
Yeah, right. So unless we don't.
We looked at 14 too with Global.
Okay.
We looked at 14, 15, and 16.
Okay,
And by far, 15 was the easiest to work with.
okay. I'll go down and take a look at it. So, I mean, we could start making appointments with them now. I don't have to wait till the spring, we're gonna be busy doing other people's projects.
No, but we can't take with their
That's-
assessment until January.
Okay, all right, that's true. Okay. So.
So do I hand this over to Chief? Do I want to work with Chief? Do we all want to have a meeting where we go down there and look at it? And how do you want to proceed with it?
What you work with the chief.
Yeah, that's fine. This is one of those subjects where we gotta figure out who's gonna pay for it. And if we just start running with it, we'll end up paying for it. So I'm totally fine doing it if we have a budget for doing it, which we did put in the budget. I think it was probably our 24 budget that we put something in there for this stuff, but, funds are getting moved around, and if we come up with an idea, it doesn't take 3 years, that'd be fantastic. So, yeah, the initial person to talk to is the chief. And if you want to spearhead that, that's great. And then if we get Global involved, talk about all the other stops, I'd be happy to be involved with all of that.
Yay. Yay. Joy's smiling too. Yay.
No, it's a lot, there's a lot. You'll learn more in that process than you learn the whole time you get on board. You get into all the details and weeds of, what it takes to get something like that done, and all the intricacies of it. So don't get overwhelmed, because we're all here, and I'll be happy to.
So maybe what I should do is talk to Chief, and do you want to meet the three of us down at Stop 15 one time? I'm not sure how busy you are, to just say, let's look at it, and so we all have an idea, and
Yeah, and then we can, in that meeting, we can bullet out, here are the issues that we're gonna have to, the roadblocks, the legalities of being on the beach, and if we're gonna have to bulldoze the grass or anything to get people down there, I'm sure we were able to do that. We're gonna provide ADA access, but we're gonna be violating our own ordinances. So there's just those kinds of hurdles we're gonna have to start putting in front of the town council. And Chief's the right person to help get that started. He's also the right person to go look for grants, because he gets grants all the time for lots of things that we have to do. Yeah.
okay.
And we will get grants for that, for sure. Because I don't think anybody's got anything ADA access anywhere near here. All maybe Buffalo does, but it'd be the closest place I know where.
Not even Michigan City?
I don't know, I'll look into it.
I've never seen one of the buckets that goes on the sand before. But they do have the blue matting that gets you to the edge of the sand. From Lakeshore Drive, they have a long, flat access points too. So maybe it might be.
I'll look into that too, Joy, that's a good idea. We may as well call Michigan City and talk to their people and see what they have, or what they've considered or looked at, or what they consider ADA.
All this is a ton of work, so if you need to do anything of this, just reach out and we'll start figuring out.
We'll just start, I'll just start if we at least meet with Chief and see what he has to say, and then start picking up where you go from there.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Thanks, Neil. Do we need to talk about the community center, or you actually put that on the agenda? So-
Yes, that is now our room.
Okay,
I'm meeting Sarah there tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And we're gonna talk about flooring, I think, in that nurse's office is the original carpeting from like the 1930s.
Carpeting original?
Yeah, I mean, it's just disintegrated into dust.
there might be asbestos under the carpet.
Well, the flooring right over it. I'm not gonna touch that asbestos. Somebody did put right in the front area that used to be the secretary's office, the same floor that's in the gym. Just stuff pieces of them in there.
Okay.
Julie must have done that. But anyway, Sarah and I are gonna figure out what we're gonna do with flooring, probably some kind of laminate, just put over the asbestos flooring. There's 3 little rooms in there, Sarah's office, and storage is going to be the old principal's office, which is the largest area, and then we're going to work with the other 2 rooms for all the historical stuff, all the features, all that, so it's a huge project, and we've got to have everything out of room 2 by, before November 1st, because they have a rented for it.
I'm available to help, so if you need help, call me or text me.
That would be great.
I might come by tomorrow morning at 9 just to look at.
Yeah, that would be great too.
What kind of help do you need? Do you need like physical labor work, or do you need?
Not really, we need to sit and go through things. Well, I need you tomorrow to give us some ideas. We need to sit and go through, there's so much stuff there. We're not gonna be able to display all of this stuff. Most of it belongs to Debbie. You know, we can't just send these people in there and have them ripping through all the historical stuff on Long Beach. But we're gonna have a sitting area, we wanna make everything accessible, like old deeds and things about houses, and we'll have all garden club photo albums, and we'll have all the, civic, they give us all their photo albums, and we've got bound copies of the beach all the way back to the 60s. And all of that stuff we need to display in there, plus, well, there's a window in the front that we're gonna leave open so people can kind of see it's the historic room in there. Sarah's office has a window one too, that we're gonna turn into like a little shadow box to display things, so people can't see what's in her space. And then Sarah's gonna, instead of working from home, she's gonna have some regular hours there in that office, so the place can be open. And people will know when it's open.
Yeah.
Or Sarah can, you know, send somebody to WC or whoever has the information. Whatever. But that's a work in progress. So,
Sounds exciting.
yeah, I think it'll be good. We're gonna take up that wall too, in front of the 3 doors when you first come in. And we've got the old architectural drawings from John Lloyd Wright. We're gonna make copies of those, and we'll have a history of the building on that wall there.
People.
So that's the plan. I've got Debbie involved in, I don't know if any of you know Sue Stevenson, but she was a year older than me when I was at Long Beach School, so I got some oldies involved in going through all this stuff, so.
I don't want to be involved anymore. I don't want to be called the oldies, the oldies that are working. Oldies we are. Okay.
So stay tuned.
All right. Sounds like a fun project. A lot of work. Last 2 projects are a lot of work. So stop 29 is the last item on the agenda. And this one's been going on for a while now. So to summarize, and you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong about this, but way back when, somewhere, the town, swapped land at the top of the stop to give somebody a driveway. And we were supposed to have been given land towards the bottom of the stop. But if you look at the actual picture on Beacon, it's an angular cutout of some sort. So the bottom line is it's not staked. Larry Wall says he has the survey, which hopefully means we can go and locate stakes. and get those back in, and then we'll have definitive proof of where these trees that the homeowner to the west of the stop is planting trees. But I'm almost certain a good portion of those trees are sitting on the stop property, which would be a 40-foot wide piece. Maybe they're trying to shield from the new boardwalk that was installed there. It's not really well, they're planting potentially large hemlock style trees that are gonna get huge at some point. The ones they planted last year, a lot of them died. But they're doing it again. So they were asked to stop. I was told they were asked to stop the last time, and they just did it anyway. So now's the time to get this marked in the sand, so to speak, and decide if we want to take action against that homeowner for planting the trees on our property, not removed or moved or whatever we want to do. But I'm almost positive they're sitting on our property.
Here's what I don't understand. How could, I mean, they don't own the beach. How could they trade property at the top for a piece of the beach?
I don't know how any of that went down. It was a long time ago from what I understand. Are you looking at
I'm
Beacon?
looking at Beacon.
You see how that angles out, that will cut out?
Yeah. I think we might be in the wrong spot.
I've got a screenshot as well. There's one more person coming in. So we're waiting for the survey to come from Larry. Chief's already spoken to the homeowner, and then once we have the survey in hand, we can go down there and hopefully find, with metal detectors or whatever, find the stakes that should already be marked there. If they're not there, we have to get a stake to prove where that marking is, where that property line is. I don't want to make a giant, huge case out of it, but we ought to be being consistent about controlling who does stuff to stop property now that we're
How
finding.
does the tree board view that issue? Do you know,
They're planting only public property. Why the town, tree board would only cover the town.
we believe this is,
Yeah, that would be our problem. We're saying that trees are being planted.
trees are being planted on our property, and they're blocking our
It's
views,
not a stock property.
we stop property.
Which is town property.
So we're gonna let you guys take the stock property, right, for tree board?
I went to your last, I was ready to go to your last meeting and it was canceled, so I don't know, we haven't been told that, and I'm still gonna show up to defend Stop 16 Condos at your next meeting. Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we are on that, and I'll keep following up on that. I'll handle that one as far as it needs to go, and we probably ought to be putting some split rail fencing in once we get this settled, without causing any trouble there.
Okay.
All right, then that is all new business, unless anybody's got anything else that I didn't get on the agenda for old or new or ongoing.
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Okay, then open it up to public comments. I think we got 2 people on the phone that you can, I think, unmute yourselves if you'd like to make a comment or ask a question. Going once, going twice. 2 people on the phone. Okay,
I move to adjourn.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you very much.